Hello and welcome back to Don't Be M.I.A. I'm your host, Samantha Elkins, and thank you so much for tuning in. I am so excited to introduce our guest for today, Ariana McClure, the newest Miami Dolphins cheerleader. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited to be here.
I'm so excited to hear all about your experiences. I mean, being a professional cheerleader is not something many people can check off their bucket list.
Yeah, no, I'm very fortunate to be here and be in this position. So, yeah, I'm excited to talk to you.
Okay, so I guess what my first question is how did this all start? Where did your passion for dance or cheer begin? And when did you decide that you wanted to pursue it professionally?
Yeah, so my older sister, she's 4.5 years older than me. She danced from the time she was 2, and so I basically wanted to do everything she did. And so I started when I was, as soon as I could walk, essentially. And I did all styles, jazz, tap, ballet, hip-hop, everything, and did that competitively throughout middle school, high school, basically my whole life, and then competed for both my competition team as well as my high school team. And then when I graduated high school, I went to the University of Utah where I was a member of their dance team and we were a spirit team fully, so we didn't compete anymore. And we performed at all football, basketball, gymnastics, every sporting event we had, we would perform at. And I really learned that I loved the performance side of it. And I love sports. And so you get a free courtside ticket to each game as well as like a field ticket to a football game. So it was really awesome in that retrospect. And then after I graduated college, I graduated a year early. And so I was kind of trying to decide what I wanted to do. And the Lakers had always been on my bucket list, so I went and was a Laker girl for one season, and it was amazing. And NBA is hard. There's a lot of games. We had like 94 home games because we did both the professional team and then the G League. And so I did that for a year, loved it, and then decided that football is where kind of my heart was at and what I wanted to do. And being an NFL cheerleader was always kind of the ultimate goal for me. And so I went to Dallas and tried to pursue that dream. And as some people know, that didn't quite work out. But I do think that all of that prepped me to get to where I was meant to be. And so, yeah, I accomplished that dream. And I'm so excited to be here in Miami. I've always wanted to live here. Never been until basically tryouts, but told my mom when I was like 15 I wanted to move to Miami, and she was like, "You're crazy." But yeah, it was always a goal, always a dream. And my dad always loved the Dolphins growing up too, and so it runs in our family. And I'm very fortunate to be here and very excited.
Wow. Yeah. So did your graduating a year early in college have anything to do with you wanting to fast track this, like the cheering?
Yeah, definitely. I think that I was in college during COVID, and so a lot of the opportunities we initially had were taken away just because of COVID, and I kind of felt that I was at kind of a standstill a little bit, and I had finished up all the academic credits that I needed to, and at that point, when I was deciding if I was going to graduate or not, we didn't know if we were going to be able to have a football season or what the Pac-12 was doing at that time, and so yeah, I knew that the Lakers would have a season for sure, and I'd be able to dance and cheer regardless of if I had a mask on or whatever it was going to be. And so that definitely it didn't, initially starting out wasn't the plan, but with COVID and how everything lined up, it allowed me to kind of get to that point quicker.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I guess it put you on a faster track to getting into the professional
Yes,
stuff, so
definitely.
That's kind of a funny way that turned out.
Yeah, I know.
When it shut down so much, but it also opened up this opportunity.
Yeah, so many. And just because we didn't have dance team, I was able to take more credits and get done with the academic side of it, which is, we forget, but why we all go to college.
Right.
It definitely allowed me to be in the position I ultimately wanted to be a little bit quicker. So that was awesome.
Okay, so then you come to Miami and you decide you want to try out for the Miami Dolphins.
Yes.
What is this tryout process like?
So it starts out with the prelim round. So there was about 300 girls, I think, that showed up. And we do like an improv round, which means they just put random music on and you kind of do like 8/8 of your own thing in groups of 5. And then they did a cut after that. And then after that, we learned from the director, Kashera, we learned like a group routine, did that in the same groups of 5, and then they did a cut after that, and the people that made it through that round were invited into the boot camp. So we had a finals boot camp for 5 days where we learned an opening number, a closing number, and just really got to train with past MDCs, as well as this was the first time we were meeting the veterans. And so we did that for 5 days. Then we had the finals day, which was like a big show performance. And so we did an opening number, and then each of the candidates did a solo. So we did like a 1.5-minute solo. Then we did, in new groups of 5, we did the combos that we had learned during the boot camp. We did the kick line, and then we did a closing number. And then after that, they made a cut and announced who was making it into training camp. So I think there were 38 of us that went to training camp, and the team is 28. So we had 3.5 weeks of training camp where we were just learning all the different game day elements, as well as we had guest choreographers coming in and teaching us routines. And there were cuts throughout all of training camp. And then on June 20th, they announced the team. And so there's 28 of us now. So it was like a 2-month-long process to get to the final team. But yeah, it's been an amazing experience, and
that's incredible.
Like, it's been very positive and very just a really good environment for me.
An estimate, how many people first started trying out versus, in the end, you said there's
28. I think there were around like 300 that registered and came to prelims, and so a good chunk, and there were 19 veterans returning. So there's now 9 rookies, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah.
Congratulations. That's incredibly impressive.
Thank you.
And it seems very, all these rounds, I'm not a dancer myself, but it seems like the dedication you really needed to be on top of everything.
Yeah, and it's a lot too. Like, not only are you like learning, but you're auditioning every day, and you have to bring your A game every day and remember all the choreography, and it's a lot to retain, but you have veterans that are there to help you, and kind of they've been through the process too, and so that helps you to know that they understand what you're feeling and what you're going through.
Yeah. So what did it feel like when you walked out? I saw they posted on their Instagram, you walk out onto the field, and on the Jumbotron it says, congratulations. What did that feel like?
For me, it was really surreal. Just that day alone, I'm like gonna tear up when I think about it. That day alone was a tough day. It was the day, and we'll probably talk more, but like the docuseries came out on Netflix was that same day. And then that night they announced the team. And I think, for me, it was just all the hard work that I've had, or that I've put in the past 2 years, was finally paying off. And I think it also just reassured me that everything happens for a reason. And I knew, sounds so cheesy, but in that moment, like, I was exactly where I was supposed to be. And I was sobbing, like crying, and tears of happiness. But and just to be able to do that and accomplish that goal with the rookies that you've been in training camp with was really special, and it builds a really good sense of sisterhood, just because you guys kind of go through everything together, and to be able to accomplish it all together makes it even more special.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. I saw the photos. You look absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, thank you.
The uniform, it's just so iconic. Yes. Especially for someone who's like lived in Miami, I see it all the time.
Yes.
The colors are just, I love them.
I love them. I think they're great. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah.
And then on top of this, I understand I want to get this right. You're completing an accelerated bachelor's in nursing degree at the University of Miami School of Nursing.
Yes.
And you're also balancing this with being a rookie.
Yeah.
So what is this like?
It's definitely, it's hard. It's a lot to balance. I think one of the best pieces of advice my mom always gave me, especially because it is on my own schedule essentially at this point, is making a schedule for myself. And so staying within that routine allows me to make sure that I'm getting everything done. So my ideal day is I wake up, work out, do schoolwork up until I have to get ready for practice, go to practice, and then that's kind of my day every day. But I think just staying on top of it, being extremely organized, and practicing good time management skills. And luckily my whole life has been kind of this exact structure of I would work out before school, go to school, and then go to dance after. And so it's not anything that's too foreign to me, but I do think having school online and then kind of balancing both, and also looking at the dance as a job too. And so you kind of have to treat it a little differently. I think there's a different type of mindset when it comes to that, just because my whole life it was like my passion, where now I'm like, oh, I get paid for this. That's cool. But yeah, so I think just good time management, and luckily my childhood and how I grew up has really set me up for success in this. So yeah.
And I understand a lot of the other cheerleaders as well have other jobs or studies, so you're kind of in it with them too.
Yeah, no, and definitely, and everyone's situation is a little different. I mean, we have girls that work remote jobs, we have girls that are nurses, we have girls that are like corporate 9 to 5 and cannot leave their office. And so when we have appearances and stuff, it's people with my schedule, it allows for me to be a little more flexible, and I can kind of fill in those gaps, as opposed to the girls that maybe have to be in the office every day from 9 to 5 and don't have that flexibility.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess something that a lot of people might not think about or realize is that when you become a member of the cheer team, I mean, it's really a whole comprehensive thing for you. I mean, you just moved here.
Yeah.
Congratulations, you got your new place.
Yes.
You survived the Miami housing market.
Yeah.
And I mean, you applied to for your studies. You really just move everything here.
Yeah.
So it's a huge commitment. And how can I ask, how have you been liking Miami? I mean, you've never been here until you got on the team.
Yeah.
That's just
it was a quick turnaround for sure. And obviously too, you don't want to be presumptuous. And so when you're in training camp, you're in an Airbnb because you don't know if you're on the team yet, and you kind of have to live. I feel like I've been in limbo the past 2 months of just like, do I live there? Do I not? I don't really know. But it was nice to kind of feel around and see exactly where I wanted to live and have that flexibility to kind of be in different Airbnbs and see what would be the best fit for me ultimately. And so yeah, it was a quick turnaround. It's a lot to do. I mean, I got my apartment, but I have 0 furniture, so I'm gonna be sleeping on an air mattress for a little bit. But yeah, no, quick, and it is different too, being so far from my family. But I also think it's been a really good move, and I'm so happy here. I love it. I love how warm it is. I love that there's water. I love just that there's always something to do. I feel like this city is really busy, and I like to stay busy. And yeah, I've met some great people so far, and so it's been all around a great experience and a great move. And besides the little stressful parts of figuring out where everything's at, yeah, no, it's been good.
So you've been mentioning your family quite a bit. Can I ask, what was their reaction, and how attached have they been through your journey while you've been trying out for the different teams and pursuing a professional cheerleading career?
Well, I'll start. So I have one sister, and then my parents. So there's 4 of us, and I mean, I wouldn't even dance probably without my sister. And I'm the baby, so she's my older sister, and has really just been the best role model for me my entire life. And everything she did, I wanted to do. And so she's also too like my number 1 supporter. And I mean, it's been a tough 2.5 years. I will say, a lot of rejection, having to deal with that, and a lot of doubt in myself. But having her like constantly cheer me on has definitely gotten me to where I am. And you know, my mom was she wanted me to go for my dreams and like go for it, but she was like, Miami, that's really far. Yeah. But no, they've been so supportive, and I would be nowhere without them. And they picked me up when I was at my worst, and they're just my number 1 cheerleaders and number 1 supporters. And I can't thank them enough for making this all happen. And moving is expensive, college, everything. And I've moved like different states for the past 3 years multiple times, and so having them has definitely allowed for all of this to come true. And yeah, there were points where I was like, maybe I should give it up. I don't know if I should keep trying. And my dad was like, no, you keep working for it, and you're only in this time where you can do that for so long. And so yeah, they're the best. I love them, and I miss them. But yeah,
I love hearing stories of when the parents support their kids' wild dreams, and then they work out. I mean, it's great.
Yeah,
you're right. You only have this window for a certain time. You went for it.
Exactly. Yeah. And it worked out. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So I understand. So you've been on the team since June 20th, so it hasn't been too long. But have you started learning some of the iconic things like the fight song or the kick line?
Yeah, we learned the fight song last week, which was really fun. And then the fins to the left. That song too, which I think really kind of set it in that it was real. And then we learned our entrance last Thursday, and I think for a lot of us, even the vets, we were like, okay, it's starting to feel real, just because you're on the football field and you're not in a studio anymore, and you everything that you've learned in the studio is starting to make sense because we put it on the field. But I think it'll really, really hit me like our first game, just because I think for so long it's been such a dream, and I'm kind of, part of me, I'm like, pinch me, am I still dreaming? But no, it feels great, and it feels amazing to be part of such an iconic organization. And I mean, there's been so many amazing MDCs before me, and being able to kind of follow in their footsteps and hopefully fulfill the same legacy that they have, and also be an inspiration to younger girls like they were to me growing up, is really surreal.
What are the differences between being the rookie and a vet? Is it just the amount of years you've been on the team, or are there any routines or moves that you kind of gain as you are on the team longer?
Definitely. I mean, the main difference is your tenure and how long you've been on the team. And I think too, just each team has a different kind of style that's signature to their team. So the veterans have definitely a little bit more experience in, let's say, the signature MDC style. Because even coming from NBA to NFL is really different. And so, yeah, that's the biggest difference. But they're also there to, I think, kind of guide us and help us make sure we adapt the best way possible. And no, they've been great. But yeah, the main difference is just how long they've been on the team. And there are leadership opportunities for veterans once you kind of get to that point. So, yeah.
Okay, amazing. So shifting gears just a little bit, going back of last year or so, while you were trying out for other teams, so you said Netflix's new docuseries just came out about the process for becoming a Dallas Cowboys called America's Sweethearts. Can you share a little bit about what that experience was like for you throughout particularly the final rounds?
Yeah, for Dolphins, or for Dallas, the final rounds of that. Yeah, so I was in training camp 2 years in a row. And so my first year, it was summer of 22. Yeah. And I was one of the last cuts during that training camp, and definitely was heartbreaking, but I got some good feedback on how I can improve and what needed to be done moving forward, and they wanted me to come back and try again. And so I moved to Dallas just because there's so many classes and opportunities out there that correlate with the Dallas Cowboys. And so I thought for training purposes, it would be the best option for me to move out there. So I moved out there, got a job, and just really went headfirst into training and prepping as best as I could for that next year's audition. And so was taking classes every week, was working with current DCCs, working with former DCCs, just really trying to master that style and do all that I could to potentially be in that position where I could make the team. And then the second year came around, and I felt much better. I think mentally I was a lot more used to the environment. It felt familiar, and I felt a lot more confident, I think, in myself, and wasn't questioning and doubting myself as much. And so I made it to training camp for the second year. Training camp was great. I was only receiving positive feedback. I was really, really getting good feedback from Kelly and Judy. I felt really good in how I was dancing. I feel like I wasn't so much of a head case. I was having a lot of fun, and especially too, just the girls there are the most amazing girls I've ever met. And so, yeah, training camp was great. It was the last night before we knew the team was going to be announced, and it kind of came out of nowhere. I will say, they called me into the office, and it was on the show. There's only a 30-second edit of it, but it was a long cut, an hour. I met with Kelly and Judy, and kind of a lot of beat arounds of what the actual reason was for cutting me, and I found out with everyone when the Netflix show came out of what it truly, like, the reason I got cut was for my height. They didn't transparently mention that when they were cutting me, but the second one hurt. It was tough, and I think it went beyond just like it caused a lot of like self-doubt and within myself, and kind of just like questioning everything, and also questioning like where do I go from here, because it wasn't the same cut where they were like, please come back and try again. It was, I kind of gathered like it's not going to happen. And so I tried to pick myself up, and I just continued working, and then in December I realized like I think my lease was up out there, and I was like, I think I want to go home and just be with my family and try to navigate where to go from there. And our director of Miami Dolphins, I knew her in Dallas, and we were really close in Dallas, and I trained with her prepping for Cowboys. She got the position of the Miami Dolphins Cheerleaders directors, and kind of that sparked just an interest in coming out here. And the more research I did, and I had known about the team, they were like have a great reputation. I just, because it was so far, was kind of never really on my radar. And then looking more into it, I was like, I think this would be a really good fit, and I really want to go for it. And so I started prepping once I got home to San Diego to come out here, and came out here. But the show was, honestly, it's allowed me to have a lot of closure, I think, to realize it wasn't anything that I could have done better. It's the one thing you can't change. Even if they would have said, we don't like your eye color, I would have like gotten contacts or something. It's like the one thing you can't change. And I just feel like it was God like picking me up and removing me from something that maybe wasn't the best for me. And I do full-heartedly believe that everything happens for a reason, and I'm where I'm supposed to be. So it's been a crazy 2 years, but
sounds like a wild
2 or 3
ride.
years, I guess you could say at this point. Yeah.
Well, I feel like, especially hearing that, putting together that when you found out you got on the Dolphins was the same day as this released, must have been, I mean, you said just a super emotional day.
Yeah.
But I'm sure the relief of just finally getting onto a team is just so amazing. I mean, I just can't congratulate you enough.
Thank you.
Quite the accomplishment.
Thank you.
Miami is so excited to have you.
Honestly, I'm so excited to be here. Like I said, I always wanted to move here, and never really, I wanted to go to the U-Miami in high school, and my parents were like, that's so far. Like, I don't know. And so just being here, and it's really, I feel like, kind of always been a dream to live here. And so being here, being able to dance and cheer and do what I've always wanted to do, as well as being a place where I've always wanted to live, is kind of just everything lined up perfectly, and I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. So
So amazing. So we've been talking a lot about dance and cheer and everything regarding that. And I'm sure, I mean, it's the biggest time consume, I'm sure. But do you have any other passions or hobbies or things you like to do in your free time just to balance out all of the dancing and cheering?
Yeah. Well, I love the beach. It's like my happy place.
Perfect.
Like any water, that's where I go to kind of, it just makes everything better if I see water. Love being outside. I love to ski. My parents have a house up in Park City, Utah, and so in the winter that's great to go back there. Love to boat. We have a boat. We like go out on the boat out there. And I know everyone loves a good boat out here, so so I just love to be on water, and I love to be outside, and I think that's why this place is just like almost perfect for me, because year round, it's kind of like San Diego. Year round, you can be outside doing things, and so it's pretty much always sunny, and you kind of get the vitamin D that I always crave. And very social, like love hanging out with my friends, love to eat out, love trying new foods. But it's tough. Like, we are a little busy, but I do think all of us find a good balance of making sure that we still get to do the things we love. But I'd say number one is the beach, water, being outside, and just being with my friends is really where I'm happiest. So yeah.
Good. Well, I hope Miami can provide you with all of that as you move in and get settled and prepare for the upcoming season. Which, speaking of, what are some of your goals for the season?
I think just to really take in every moment, and I think the process of me getting here has allowed me to appreciate what I get to do even more. And I think just living in the moment and making the best of it. And yeah, there's going to be times where I'm like, oh, maybe I don't want to go to practice tonight. I don't want to. But I think for 2.5, 3 years, I've been like dying to just be able to go to a practice and be able to be on a team. And yeah, I think just really taking in every moment and making sure that I'm fully appreciating it all, and just having fun. I feel like I've been stressed out and like an emotional mess kind of lately, like this whole process. And so I'm in a place now where I can just really enjoy it and perform and have fun. And yeah, and hopefully they're good and we go to a Super Bowl and we win. And so that's kind of where I'm at. But if not, it's okay. But yeah, so, and I think just really bonding with my teammates too, and building a community and a family out here. And yeah, that's my goals.
Those are, I mean, incredible goals.
Thank you.
So I guess we're coming up to our final question.
Okay.
Do you have any piece of advice to anyone who is interested in pursuing a professional cheer career like you are?
Yeah, definitely. I think the number one thing for sure, and it's what's gotten me through it, is just being resilient. And in dance alone and growing up dance, you deal with a lot of like self-judgment and like you question yourself, and there's a lot of comparing, and just, I mean, you're in front of a mirror like 5 hours a day. And so I think being resilient and knowing your worth and what you bring to a team. And the best analogy I got is like, these teams aren't like a bouquet of roses, they're just like a bouquet of flowers. So everyone is beautiful in their unique way, and like they look beautiful together, but like a daisy's different than a rose. And so making sure you hone in on your personal attributes and what makes you authentically you, and taking that and really kind of excelling and highlighting that can help you just remember your why and remember who you are and not get lost in the world of comparison. But I also think that NFL cheer is such a complex, and a lot of people are seeing that now, but one team that you thought maybe the best team for you may not be a fit for you, but you may be a perfect fit for another team. And these teams are like puzzles, so like you just kind of have to find that one piece, and if you fit in at that time, then it's your time. But yeah, I think I've had to practice a lot of resilience and a lot of just keeping my chin up and going forward and moving forward. But the biggest piece of advice, I guess that was like a roundabout thing, but it's just like, remember who you are and be confident in who you are and what you can authentically bring to the table, because everybody needs a little bit of everything, and they don't want carbon copies of one another. That doesn't make the team appeal to everybody. And so yeah, that's kind of my piece of advice. And just keep going, just keep like moving forward and working hard and training, but don't take it too serious. We're shaking pom-poms on a football field and we get to have fun. So it's not as, I got wrapped up in like, oh my gosh, this is so stressful. But at the end of the day, we're doing what we love and doing it for a great sport and for great fans. And so, yeah, just remembering that.
Right. Well, I mean, it is, I know it not too serious, but it's still such a unique and amazing job to have. And it will be, I'm sure, with you for the rest of your life. You'll always remember these days. And I'm so happy for you. I can't congratulate you enough.
Thank you.
When I'm tuning in from college or at home, I'll keep an eye out for you on the field. I mean, I wish you the best. And I want to thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Thank you for having me. It was so nice to meet you and so great to talk.
Good.
First little podcast.
Yes, we did it.
Yeah.
Okay, well, to those watching, thank you so much for tuning in. And remember, don't be M.I.A.